Mixtape Addict. Mr. Edit, you bitch, I've been grinding.
Yes, sir. It's DJ Kimbo once again. Mixtape Addict show in the house, from France to the US. And I'm with the homie Bishop the Overseer. We met last year, we talked, and we back for another episode. How you doing, my man?
I'm okay. I'm maintaining. Got my birthday coming up tomorrow. What they call it, another run around the globe, so to speak. So just happy to be here. Happy to be in the land of the living. Big up to you and your audience. Yes. Much love.
The meek shall inherit the earth, so what we waiting for? Pivotal moment in time, this battle's one of a kind. Bottom to the top, top to the bottom, seeking freedom through violence. They say we consented through silence, breaking bondage. 44 steps forward, 45 steps back. We're a nation of immigrants, so white sending us back. Hold up, 44 steps forward, 45 steps back. You're falsifying the narrative, use an alternative facts. Hold up.
This is how our story begins. You know you make from the shows, and now you owe me again. We playing it when Legos, why don't you bounce to this? Now you niggas in the building, so it's bound to hit.
Happy birthday to you, man.
Appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? When you get, up in age and you start growing a little older, it starts becoming, the run-of-the-mill stuff. But, I got people around me that keep me uplifted and celebrate me and, look forward to my birthday probably more than I do these days.
Yeah, man, that's what it is. When you grow up, like when you were a kid, you enjoy every birthday, and when you get older, it's different.
That's true. That's true. It's sort of like Christmas. You start losing the essence of it as you continue to grow older. But you just try to have people that surround you that are keep you uplifted and are interested in those things, and then you just keep it going from there. You know what I'm saying?
Entourage is very important, man. That's why doing a positive mind, it keeps you going. Let me ask you, bro. The last time we talked, I asked you, the Mixtape Addict question. I asked you who is your favorite DJ, and you mentioned DJ Premier, DJ Cool Herc, Red Alert, those guys. So is it still the case, or you have another one that you want to mention?
It's probably still going to be them, because without them and P Rock and all of those guys, you wouldn't have what you have today. From a modern DJ perspective, like yourself and other people that are doing it, all of the DJs, shout out to all the DJs that show me love around the world, because they're currently adding the current track. They've added my previous tracks to their playlist and got it out there, and spent it on the radio, college, commercial, public radio, you name it. Their mixtapes, their record pools. Those are the guys that's keeping it going, and people like yourself that know how to brand it and make it more of a business where you can make your money.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And what you think about the DJ culture and the whole hip hop culture in the States right now? What's your opinion about it?
I don't know. It's hard to get the temperature. Things are kind of shifting and changing. I'm trying to expand into some different record pools than I traditionally work with. You understand, for some of the later material. I don't know how I should feel about it, or the direction that it's going. I think more importantly, it's just really getting the DJs the material is the main thing. They make their decision whether or not they want to put it on the air, or what they want to do with it. So it's a quid pro quo. It's a bargain for exchange. You can't expect people to put something on the air that they don't know about. And you got to make sure you exercise enough due diligence to get yourself out there. As to any particular DJ or what the culture is, I'll preserve my reservations on that. You know, I think it's I don't think it's diminishing if that's something that you're looking for an answer. I don't think that the culture is diminishing. I think it might more so just be expanding because you got more acts, you got more ways to ingest content, easier to record audio tracks, so on and so forth, and more easier to generate video, user generated or professionally generated video. So I think you have to take all those things in consideration. Also changes versus, if you're a major label trying to do servicing. I talked to some record pools, they say, well, we can't service certain labels because of restrictions in copyright and licensing and the like. And then, then you have to create a derivative for indie labels such as myself where they can get it direct. So, sometimes they can't even get, major label content based on licensing provisions and things that are going on legally, but they can deal with, a corporation like myself direct because we don't have all of those restrictions and you're getting it directly from the copyright owner source.
Yep. That's nice that you're talking about that because we've seen the artists being really disappointed into the new way of doing business with the Spotify, the way of spreading the music, and I think things are changing. It's really going back to direct to customer type shit. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think about that? You as an artist, do you think it's a good idea to follow this path?
I think going direct to consumer is a good idea. That's what we're doing for the current album that's coming down the pipeline, Nation of Immigrants. We're doing a direct to consumer link where people can buy it direct off the website. We don't want to foreclose on our contractual agreements that we have, not only with our distributor, because we essentially, granted them a master use license to get it to streaming platforms. But, we're not necessarily trying to get into the streaming space because we don't have the capacity to offer streaming on our site. But, if people still want to stream, they can still go stream, at the streaming locations, whichever one that may be. But if they're interested in downloading it, we can do the downloads and they can buy direct from us if they want to, buy like merch. We got the Bishop branded stuff. I don't know whether it's coming through on the camera, but we got the Bishop. We got the Bishop branded stuff that, if people want to cop direct, they can cop direct because that's stuff that you can't get from the streaming platform. If they want to, be a part of getting exclusives like this and, whatever video content we got coming out, those are things that are more direct that you can get direct from the source that you can't get on a lot of the streaming platforms. Some platforms, offer our content from a video perspective, but not all platforms. So, and just, from an exclusivity standpoint, there's benefits of dealing direct with us, at least, than dealing with some of the streaming platforms that kind of gives you more of a formalized cookie cutter way of ingesting content. Sometimes you can just get the audio is the point I'm trying to make. You just get something very specific, but you can get more of a user experience by buying direct.
Exactly. That's the word that I was, waiting for, the experience, because it creates a really special link between the artist and the customer. And I think, people are feeling better and, happy about dealing directly with the artist. That creates a special link between two people, which is not the case really when you stream on the other streaming platforms,
I come from an era in which, I had to build personal relationships with people because, before digital, I had to print my stuff up on CDs and cassettes. I'm giving away, I guess the era in which I come from. But, I started selling my stuff literally out of a backpack and out of a trunk, in a sense, because, I didn't have access to those, digital wasn't even in the frame of mind. I mean, this predates the iPhone, what I'm talking about. The iPhone comes out in 2006. I'm pumping my first CD in 2001. So the iPhone's not even out in 2001. So there's no such thing as, I'm going to get on the internet and do anything at that point. Everything was a different era at that time. So I had to build relationships with the consumer, you know, whether it was I was doing in stores, whether it was a mom and pop in-store record store, whether it was a brick and mortar larger retailer like a FYE, coconuts and strawberries here in the U.S. at that time. You know, I had to grow it to a level where I was able to get into those major retail stores. But I started off, you know, especially when I was in community college, I would get to class before class and have flyers and put the flyers down on each desk. So if a person sat down, that was the first thing they would see before they even take their books out their backpack. They would see my advertisement. They probably wouldn't have known where it came from out the gate, but then when they look at it and materialize it, then they say, oh, you know, this is my classmate or whatever. And then a lot of times I used to get sales like that. You know, I'll sell a CD, you know, based on that. And I kept something, I kept a database, BPC, consumer database. And I would have people write down their first and last name and their address,
Nice.
their telephone number, their email address. And for many years, you know, I will market back to them from that. So not only would it be that sell, a point of sale, if you will, whether I caught you in a classroom, whether I caught you in passing, whether I caught you on the street, whether I caught you at the in-store, I developed mailing labels where I would mail out stuff. You know, that's when you did bulk mail, you know, advertisements out. Like if I had new releases coming out or touring or merch or whatever, you know, I would, you know, send that out in bulk mail. Then I had email bulk, which, you know, that's something that you can still currently do in current day, where you had the email address and you did bulk mail email and send it out so people do mass blast. So, you know, I've always been kind of at the marketing, advertising forefront, with what I would call guerrilla marketing, you know, hitting people from a lot of different angles, whether it was vehicular advertisement. I went to the extreme, you know, for a release I put out in 2007, 2008 that committed to a positive change national ad campaign. I had leased a Hummer at the time, so it was my personal vehicle, but I also used it for business purposes and got it wrapped in the company advertisement and used to drive that all over town, you know, when I was out east.
You had to have a different skills, you know, back then. You had to really be a hustler and know how to sell yourself. And like you said, every time you have something new, you let the people know. You know? Yeah,
you had to hustle. You had to hustle. It's not, you know, you still had to hustle, but, you know, the hustle was different now. You know, I had to formulate street teams to get the word out back then. Now it's a person that follows you on social media that likes your stuff or want to repost your stuff or put it in their stories or put it in their reels. You know, that now is that's your quasi street team now. Yep. So I embrace people that, you know, embrace what I'm doing, embrace the culture. And, you know, I'm not here to create impediments to them sharing the material, liking the material. If anything, you know, those people are helping you. Those people are your allies in this thing. They just further expand it, you know, past any poster or flyer that you could give out back in the day. You know, reposting something now, you know, gets over to different countries and different continents. So it's a much more expanded game now.
And what's your process now when it comes to releasing music, like from start to finish? How exactly do you process?
Like right now, I'm on the tail end of finishing up writing the songs for the album Nation of Immigrants. We got, I think, about 6 or 7 songs completed. We got 4 songs to go. I think it's going to be an 11-track album, 10 to 11-track album. So my process, I guess it really starts at the instrumentation standpoint and the creative thought standpoint. Usually you're doing something where, say for instance, you say, I want to, you know, I'm writing about a particular topic. Like say if you want to go in and you want to write a book.
Yeah, we back, you know, the homies in Arizona. The phone overheated, man. It's too hot out there, bro.
Hey, it's a beautiful lifestyle out here. You just stay under the AC. You try to stay hydrated. You stay in the pool if you had access to a pool. But going outside during the course of the day is a no. Hey, you'll cook alive out here.
You were telling me about your process, you know, to work on on your music that you were working on this album, almost done with it?
Yeah. It starts from the I guess if you think about it in the aspect, if you're writing a book or you're writing a novel, you're writing a paper, you're writing poetry, you're writing a script or a documentary film or film, it really kind of starts there because you want to get into the creative muse of whatever it's going to be. And then it kind of evolves from there. So, with the process, it really depends on whether you're going in an album direction or whether you're just doing a single, just like a one-off or something like that. So I guess I'll start with the single. A single, if it's not attached to an album, it's just, kind of a one-off thing. So it's really not about a bigger body of work, if that makes sense. It's really just about that particular work. So then it's whatever that's about. You start finding your instrumental based on your topic, what you're trying to accomplish. The instrumental sets the mood. Yep. It sets the ambiance. It's sort of like a scene in a television show or a film. The mood isn't really captured until it has a score to it about what this sounds like. It's either going to be a really scary scene, or it's going to be a really intense scene, or it's going to be a really happy scene, whatever that may be. Yep. So essentially, with writing music, start with an instrumental. Essentially, you got to set the mood, and then from there, you come up with whatever the topic is you want to discuss over that. Give it most times it starts with a title. Sometimes you start just writing the bars essentially, and then the title is predicated on the basis of whatever your verse is going to be or your chorus is going to be. Get into your chorus section, what the chorus, because the chorus essentially is going to make the song. A lot of times people don't even remember what your verses say unless they're like really into the song. You said something that was really impactful to somebody, something that was really memorable. But people primarily remember chorus, even from a song placement standpoint. When you hear stuff in like television shows, video games, commercials, a lot of times you just gonna hear the chorus section, unless it's gonna be like in the ending credits or something like that, or sometimes in the beginning. So the chorus gotta be a really catchy chorus, gotta be a strong chorus. Yep. And then, you move into your second verse. Third verses are usually optional. I got songs that got 2 verses. I got songs that got 3 verses. I got songs that got an extended third verse. I got songs that got a 4th verse. So, it's really, to your writing style, as we write music and hip hop, we write it to, a 16-bar verse per verse and, a 4-bar repeat chorus. It's the format, and that's usually going to be a 2-verse song or a 3-verse song. But in the song we got out now with Breathe, which is a part of a bigger body of work, Nation of Immigrants, Breathe, the original track was called 64 Bars when they made the instrumental, because it's a 64-bar count in between the chorus and the verses. So that goes 64 bars. So you think of that's like 4 times the volume of what you would get in a normal 16, 16 times 4 gets you to the 64, you understand? So you're getting 4 times the value in a verse than you would ordinarily get on a regular song that was only 16 bars.
Sometimes there's something that we expect, from lyricists, especially guys like you, you like talking about some real subjects and talking about history, society, all types of stuff. And you like to spread the knowledge about, different topics. And sometimes we need 3, we need 4 verses, man. If you're really deep into a story, we want more. It's like when you're reading a good book, you don't care if it's like 1,000 pages. As long as it's good, you're going to keep reading it.
That's true, and that kind of goes to the second point of what it takes to make an album, which is a larger body of work. So to me, that process really becomes more rigorous. Some of my earlier stuff, like say when I did Money Spot was really about, some of the personal things and effects that I had experienced either directly or indirectly, metaphorically or non-metaphorically, hyperbole or otherwise, but more so, adding verbatim events with allegories and fables, essentially, to paint a picture of what was going on at that time in my life. So that was really creating a more detailed experience of through my lens. Because, right, if a person, I guess, never been to the hood, so to speak, never been in the ghetto, never been in an urban area, they wouldn't have the gravitas or the capacity to appreciate what you would go through day to day in that space. So you have to be a journalist or a reporter to report back in as many ways you can without, I guess, even self-incriminating in some cases, because they even take your lyrics and use them against you in court these days.
Yeah.
But finding a way to articulate that in such a way that it's non-incriminating and non-incriminating to others, or you're not necessarily dry snitching in a sense, but being able to say it with your chest, say it with conviction, say it with as much definition as you can, and not say it's something that you're not afraid to say in that person's face, or whoever you're talking about, or whatever the event you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So, but in this space with the Nation of Immigrants, it's something deeper than myself, you understand? So this is really based on historical events.
Yep.
Right. So a lot of this stuff is based on research at a time in which I didn't even exist. So in that space, it's really predicated on the basis of the research, and then the research is going to curtail into song, because you think of each song as a chapter to your research. So chapter 1, maybe a song called Nation of Immigrants, but chapter 2 may be a song called Breathe. So it's all chopped up in an ingestible way that you're not being over absorbed into this space, and you can kind of take it chapter by chapter and ingest it as you see fit or as you want to. That's the difference, I guess, in the digital age than it was in the previous era, where you were fixed to a full fixed CD or cassette or vinyl. Now you can kind of pick and choose. I only wanted to enjoy chapter 2. I only want to enjoy Breathe. I don't necessarily want to go into the other 10, 11 tracks, or, I may only like tracks, 2 and 3. I'm only like Someday, I only like Someday as a track 3, or Breathe as a track 2. I don't want to really get into the whole.
I think a real good album, it's very rare to hear a good quality album from start to finish. That's how you build it, when you say no skip, you don't skip any tracks. That's how you create a good experience to go back on that word, a good experience for the listener. Mm-hmm. How do you expect people to react to your project?
Well, it's going to be something that is educational, I guess, first and foremost. You're gonna get an education on something, whether you want it or not, or whether you know it exists or not. Even a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, I learned at different parts of my life. I didn't get it as early as I probably would have liked to have gotten it, but eventually I still got it, and I'm still getting it. Like, I don't think you ever stop learning, first and foremost. You learn every day. You learn it every minute of the day, every hour of the day. You can never know everything, nor do I have a passion to know everything, because I never proclaimed to know everything. But I do know certain things that are being closed off, things that are being suppressed, that certain people don't want folks to know, and I don't think that's a good look. I think people should be knowledgeable about history, period. It doesn't matter which side you sit on. It doesn't matter whether you're, atheist or God-fearing. It doesn't matter whether you're a European or non-European. It doesn't matter, whether you're religious or non-religious. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female or non-binary. I think people just need access to information.
If you want to hear the truth, the pure truth, you gotta do your homework. You know, you gotta study.
To me, a stupid nation will remain stupid. I mean, you gotta feed people information, and it kind of feels like in different spaces, different places. I mean, you know, me and you done had conversations, you know, in my legal service capacity, or whether it's, you know, in my music capacity, whether it's my personal capacity. It seems like society is more availed to keeping people more stupid and not feeding them information, because being stupid is an advantage to some. You understand? So, not stupid to be stupid per se, but to not feed you information is to keep you dumb, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm not necessarily calling people stupid. Yeah, so to be informed, I mean, the reason why you read and you learn and you listen and you talk and you exchange ideas and ideologies is to learn about one another, not just what's going on in your association circle, not what's going on in the four corners in your neighborhood. You know, I want to know what's going on down the block. I want to know what's going on in my municipality, you know, at the local mayor's office, at the local, you know, governor's office, at the president's, at the prime minister. I want to know these things so I can, you know, understand how society or civil society works. I want to understand the process. If you're interested, some people may not be interested, but, you know, I'm a person that's interested in those things because I think they all are interconnected. Whether you're trying to, you know, start a business, you got to know how to do that. Whether you're trying to get credit for a business, you got to know how to do that. Whether you're trying to get funded for a business, you got to know how to do that. You know, whether you want to, you know, get a community college, an associate's degree, you got to know how to do that. Whether you want a bachelor's degree or beyond, you got to know how to do that. Whether you want to go to law school, you got to know how to do that. So you have to learn how to do these things in order to evolve in society.
It's all about education, you know, educating.
Yeah.
If you don't have somebody to teach you, then you gotta find the solutions yourself.
Correct. You wanna travel, you gotta know how to do that. You want to travel outside of your country, you gotta know how to do that. You gotta have a passport for that. You gotta do this, you gotta do that. You know, it's all of these different variables that you have to know and understand to keep moving up the ladder of life. So to keep those things in the dark, not to say what those things are, not to make those things known, I think it's a disservice, actually, to society. So people, to answer your question, you know, people are going to get an education about certain history as it relates to the U.S. It's primarily going to be U.S.-based. A song like Breathe, you know, if I go back to that, expands past just the U.S. disenfranchised. It speaks about global disenfranchised. Whether you know, are from Israel or whether you're from Gaza, you know, it speaks to the point of, you know, chokeholds and woke foes. Mm-hmm. You know, it speaks about sending bombs through civilian safe zones just to kill a child, not to make a clap, you know, at your true adversary that's armed that can actually, you know, fight back. It speaks to that point to the person that's just a civilian that don't even have the means to fight back. So you're going to get, you know, somewhat of a global educational disenfranchisement, something that, you know, people from all walks of life can speak to. You know, it's going to speak to the doctrine of discovery. A lot of people are not up on the doctrine of discovery. And personally, I just, you know, recently learned about the doctrine of discovery, about how, you know, essentially the Catholic Church, so all the Catholic believers, you know, the Catholic Church, wherever they, you know, set foot in the development of the world, and they found a nation that was what they would say was non-religious or non-believers in Catholicism. They said, well, if you're not a Christian, essentially, then, you know, under the doctrine of discovery, we have the right to take your land. And not only are we going to take your land, we're going to colonialize it to make it more of what we see fit. And this is how you get all the Catholic churches in all these different jurisdictions. And now you have colonialism. And now this is where you see this hostile takeover of it just being, you know, a whitewashed world where you essentially where you don't have the indigenousness of the locality the way it was, from culture to language to religion to rituals to food to language, you name it. But all of those things become whitewashed, even down to the hair. You know, you can't even wear your hair. So, I mean, we got something over here called the Crown Act in the U.S., where during the George Floyd movement, you know, our United States federal legislators have put a bill on the floor called the Crown Act. And the Crown Act is mostly about blacks that wear their hair natural, like whether they wear afros, whether they wear dreadlocks, whether they wear braids, any type of Afrocentric style. You know, they put a law in the books to say that you could not be discriminatory against a person based on their hair. And hair is a part of culture. You know, even though you've been stripped down to your culture, you can't even wear your hair the way you want to in certain places in the United States. And they try to put a law in the books, and they shot that down. So we don't even have the right to wear our hair, like for jobs, like for certain professional jobs. There's a kid that keeps popping up on the social media feed. I think he out of Texas somewhere. You know, his elementary school, his high school, whatever, I think it's his high school, and they actually expelled him because he wore his hair like dreads or braids, and said he couldn't come back. So stupid stuff like that,
Crazy.
You know, is where the doctrine of discovery goes in, because it's a stripping of culture. Yeah.
Your look doesn't have anything to do with your ability and your capacity. You know.
That's true. That's true. That's again a fallacy and a falsity that's perpetuated, that you have to look a certain way in order to make it today, and that's not the case.
Things are changing now. Your mentalities are changing, especially in this, you know, international world now. Everybody's connected. See, you and me were the proof of that, you know. So things are changing, man. Now, how do you see? How do you see the, like, how do you see yourself, like, in 5 years from now? You know, whether it's the law business that you're in, or also the music. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I think you know, I'll probably still be, you know, running an entertainment firm. You know, Junior's next in line. He has an interest in music. He jumped on Breeze with me, and he got another track that he's on, and maybe jumping on a few more tracks to close it out.
Nice.
I think, you know, I'll probably, you know, get into the documentary film space more, because from making music videos and now making the Life, Mike and Beyond, you know, the docu-series essentially that kind of gives you the making of each song on this album, Racial Immigrant. You know, people are finding interest in that, and, you know, there may be deals that are cultivated as a result of just doing a documentary about the album, essentially. So we you know, I know how to do filmmaking. I know how to write storyboards. I know how to, you know, shoot it and, you know, edit it. And, you know, if I can't do it, be able to outsource it and know who to deal with to make it commercialized, so we can package it up in a product to be ingested on different platforms. Probably, you know, me and my wife would probably be more into the documentary film space, to be quite honest, at this point.
Nice. Good,
under the Life, Mike and Beyond brand, plus, you know, some other stuff. I think, you know, we'll continue to grow both businesses, whether it's, you know, BPC on the entertainment side, whether it's Sun Inc., you know, on the legal services side. You know, we already got the 5 states in which we operate in current day, and, you know, we're just continuing to expand that clientele across, you know, those individual business, attorney, and government clients that we so seek to fit and so seek to maintain. Mm-hmm. So to me, it just gets better. You know, it's just learning the weather per day. You know, it's sort of like you watch the weather report. You know, is it going to be raining today? Do I need an umbrella? You know, do I need galoshes? You know, do I need the snorkel coat? You know, do I need the bubble coat? Do I need, you know, swimming trunks? Do I need, you know, you know, what it's really about seeing the report per day. What's the weather report per day? How do I need to prepare for business each day? How do I need to be equipped each day to do business? And making sure that I'm doing things legit, making sure I'm paying my taxes and maintaining compliance in my industry, and that, you know, I won't get entrapped by those things, because That's the only thing that really will hold you back, is if you're not paying your tax or you get entrapped by doing things that are beyond your scope in your industry, specifically in the legal services space. But if you're good with compliance and you're good with taxes, you know, sky is the limit for, you know, what you can accomplish, essentially. You almost become unstoppable, but for your own estoppment.
We only have 5 minutes left in this convo, bro. So do you have any last words, man, for the people that's been watching it, and also all the young upcoming MCs and also upcoming filmmakers that are trying to do the same thing, man?
Check out Life, Mike, and Beyond, the making of whichever song, you know, we're featuring, you know, from the Nation of Immigrants. You know, watch that and just that. We're about 5 episodes in as of this interview. We got probably 6 more episodes that we're going to shoot after we finish the writing for the remainder of the songs. And just that, you know, I learned from watching people do stuff. My ideas come from a variety of different people that have done similar things. You know, you could say the Life, Mike, and Beyond is something comparable to how what I just learned, you know, maybe a few months ago, that, you know, when Michael Jackson made Thriller, they licensed that to MTV at the time, because MTV didn't play black artists on TV. But he had got so much buzz around Thriller that they folded to that and actually funded him to do this whole behind the scenes, which essentially is sort of like the making of. Yep. This whole behind the scenes thing with Thriller. They gave him $1 million budget to do that and to get the exclusive right to premiere Thriller once it was completed. Now Thriller is what it is in current day. But at ground zero, he was just trying to get the video on. He was trying to get the songs that predated Thriller on. But it wasn't until he, you know, built the buzz around the singles that came out before Thriller, that he had somebody in the market that was willing to, you know, fund his making of. So think of, you know, the Life, Mike, and Beyond, the making of, and, you know, we're just, you know, we're bankrolling it ourselves, but we're getting network interest about picking up the episodes as well, including yourself.
That's one great way to promote yourself. Come up with the album and at the same time come up with the documentaries, different episodes. It's good shit, man.
Because I appreciate you. I think, you know, making stuff like that is bigger than just putting out the audio aspect of it, because everybody can put out the audio version of something, but how many people have not only the gravitas, the know-how, the wherewithal, the resources, and the connect to get it disseminated, but how to put all that together, and it builds interest, essentially. It builds interest in the product, the underlying product. So in one product, we're promoting 3 products.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Life, Mike, and Beyond, which is one product. We're talking about the individual song, which is another product. And we're talking about the album, that's the 3rd product. So you're getting a 3 for 1. Yeah. So that's just good. That's just good business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is the business of music. At the end of the day, you have to know how to package this stuff.
It's entertainment. You know, you get the full package. That's a good thing.
So think it in the form of a business. You want to say, you know, what I want to give to the people. If you're in the market for doing stuff like that, think about it in the form of business. Yep. You know, what you know, how can I package this in a combo meal? How can I get people not only to buy the bitmap, how can I get them to get fries and something to drink, all in one product?
Yes,
so you have to be able to create that in something that people are in the market for, or in some cases they don't even know that they're in the market for it, but now it has availed themselves, like the air conditioner, or the airplane, or the automobile, or the iPhone. You know, people didn't know that they needed an iPhone before it came out, but now we have it. you know, so you can kind of get people to get in the fold of what they don't even know they need to know, or that they need to have, just by better explaining and being able to articulate what it is that you have and get it to them.
It's always nice to having you, man. And I recommend everybody that's watching, go check out the album, go check out the documentaries, different episodes. Get your knowledge. You know, it's really important, especially in this crazy world that we live in. And thank you, Bishop the Overseer, for coming through the Mixtape Addict show, man.
Hey, peace to you and yours. Peace to the fam. Hey, we out.
Take care, my man. Peace.